Ooh. Hi, welcome and welcome back to my channel. When I was browsing online, I came across E.L.F's new line called Retro Paradise, and I just picked up some of the bits and bobs to try for myself. First of all, I'm gonna try the eyeshadow palette first. I'm gonna mix these two together to create a transition shade. There's actually quite a lot of fallout, I don't know if you can see. Okay, that's quite a nice transition shade. It's not that visible, but once you put on more colour, it'll really help the colours blend. I would focus out on the crease more and then use the leftover all over my eyes. And maybe some down here as well. If you see me looking down, it's because I have a mirror here, so don't mind me. I create such an ugly face when I try to do my bottom eyeshadow. Let's move on to applying this all in the inner corners of my lids. Okay, it looks better with fingers compared to brush. When it's applied with brush, there's not a lot of pigment. Not picking up enough pigment. So I think applying with a finger is better. And the parts that are harder to get, I'm gonna use the brush to try get it higher. I find that patting it in is better than swiping it. It helps the pigment stay. So on this side of my eye, I'm gonna use a primer instead and see if the colour picks up better. You don't need a lot, just a tiny bit, like. This primer usually makes eyeshadows much more vibrant, so I'm hoping this will help pick up some of the colour. So I'm gonna try it with a brush again. Okay, it seems to pick up the colour much better. So yeah, you probably need an eyelid primer for this shade. Or like the more pastel-y kind of colours in this palette. As you can see, it's definitely much better on the eye with a primer compared to the non-primer one. I feel like there was less fallout as well, like you can see there's a bit of purple, but here it's much more clean. Next up, I'm gonna mix it with this onto the crease or outer corner. Again, I'm finding it a little hard to get the colour payoff I want with these matte shades. As you can see, it worked so much better compared to this. And then I'm gonna put this go onto the middle part of my lid. Oh, but it looks really pretty on. Actually, it's not just the purple, that it also gives a really nice like glitter, iridescent kind of look. Excuse my nails, by the way, they're kind of little roughed up. Oh, I really like this shade. So pretty. Sometimes I just prefer using my fingers for glittery shades because it holds it on so much better than a brush, and when you swipe it on, the colour payoff tends to be better as well. That's why I like using my fingers for it instead of a brush. But if you would want to use a brush, then I'll advise you spray some makeup fixer on, like the MAC Fix Plus or something, before applying it onto your eyes. It'll help pick up the pigment. Yeah, I love this shade. It's very pretty. And then with a fluffy brush, I'm gonna dip it into this and apply it here to make all the colour transition a bit more smooth. It helps blend the colour in a bit more. I think next time I'll definitely try these shades and create a look with them. They just look so pretty together. So I'm gonna put on some concealer to just get rid of the fallout. I'm using these two here in the shade 1.5 and 1.25. That's the 1.25. This is the 1.5. When I get darker, I usually just use the 1.5, but because there's quarantine and I haven't really been going out, so my skin hasn't really like tanned, and I had to mix these two together. I'm gonna set my concealer with a bit of translucent powder. I'm using this INNISFREE one, the No Sebum powder. This has been in my holy grail for many years and I love it because just look at how nice and smooth it makes my skin. It gets rid of oil so easily as well and not cakey, even though if you use this during the day with like foundation that's been resting on your face for like a few hours, it still doesn't cake up. That's why I really like it. And a little trick is that you can actually put it in your hair as well. It will get rid of like the oil just like a dry shampoo would, but it doesn't get sticky, so it gives you like a really nice clean feeling while keeping the volume in your hair and not weighting it down like some dry shampoo can be. Just gonna pat this all through my face. So nice and matte. For my bottom, I think I'm gonna try this in the middle. Okay, this shade is quite nice. It comes out, the pigment comes out quite nicely. It's like a coffee kind of colour. Gonna get a fluffy brush to blend it out a little. And then I'm gonna apply this a bit further out just to get a little bit more shimmer. I'll go for the spiced to add just a little bit more colour. Looks a little washed out right now. Gonna use cacao. Let me get a tiny eyeliner brush and then get a bit of cacao. That's good. Just to give a little bit more dimension. The colour definitely comes off better on the side with primer. This side needs to be built up a bit more. Ah. Oh. And you probably have to use more products as well. And I put some of this sea salt onto the inner corners. Yeah, be careful with the fallout. Ooh, This looks really nice as an inner corner shimmer. The glitter is slightly chunky though, I would say. So it's more of a bold look instead of a very like nice high-end, high-class shimmer. I did it a little too much. Kind of need to be careful with this because it spreads really quickly, so it will just go everywhere if you're not careful. Gonna need a bit more concealer around here just to get rid of the glitter. So I've just applied some bronzer and eyelashes, and I realised I forgot to try these. So I'm going to try them now. I'm going to put on the... I'm going to put on the Disco Queen. Just a little bit on the inner corners. Really love this Disco Queen one. So the last thing to try is this highlighter palette. Now let me grab a tiny blush brush or highlighting brush. This is the highlighting brush from E.L.F as well. I'm gonna grab the pinky shade and use that as an overall highlight, overall blush with a bit of shimmer. I usually like using a blush with a bit of shimmer if I'm not using too much highlighter that day, because then it'll give me like a sheen and it looks much prettier. Ooh, you see this? I like this. Oh, look at that glow. I'm gonna top it off with another one. I'm gonna use the fan brush. I'm gonna use this one. So shiny. Okay, I have a lot of highlight on my cheeks now. Oh well. Instead of using this one for my nose, I'm gonna use this one instead. I'm gonna use my fingers. And create more of a smooth highlight. It definitely, the shimmers in it is definitely less coarse, so. Last but not least, the lip gloss. And then remove my lip balm first. I'll try the A Moment this time. You see how that just instantly added some life to my lips? This is what these lip glosses are for. They don't really give you a colour, but they just give you that shine and healthiness to your lips. And again, you can use a lipstick underneath if you want a bit more colour. They smell really good as well. They smell like tropical juice. What do you think? Do you think it's good? So that's all the products I've tried from E.L.F recently. If you want to see more looks from this palette, just let me know in the comments below and I'll create something in the future. Thank you for watching. Bye!